Do you ever sit in a meeting and think more about your grammar than you do your actual idea? Maybe you rehearse the sentences in your head and you worry about making a mistake, and by the time you're ready to speak, the conversation has already moved on. This is a really common problem for so many of my students and international professionals in general, people in general, honestly. Because speaking up in a meeting, sharing your ideas, this isn't just a language problem. This is a human problem. This is intimidating and scary. But there are some strategies that we can practice to build your confidence and your communication ability. I'm Haley, a communication coach for international professionals. I help you communicate with confidence, build a growth mindset, and thrive across cultures. So in today's video, I want to give you 3 different strategies to help you with this exact problem. It'll help you to stop overthinking your English in the workplace, so you can focus less on grammar and more on the impact of your message and your different ideas, because we all deserve to feel comfortable and confident in the workplace, and just in general. Point number 1, shift your focus from perfection to connection. Now, as a recovering perfectionist, this is really hard for me. It's much easier said than done, but people care more about your message than perfect grammar, honestly. I know our middle school and elementary school teachers have tried to convince us that grammar is everything, but it's just not true. I once coached a professional from Germany who refused to speak up in meetings because she always thought her English wasn't good enough. But when she finally spoke up, her colleagues were like, "Wow, it's so good to hear from you. We loved hearing your perspective. You did such a good job." And she was shocked. I mean, I was telling her for weeks, months, that her ideas and how she expressed herself was fantastic, but you really never build that confidence until you take that leap outside of your comfort zone. So this is really helpful. In professional settings, people are listening for clarity and ideas, not grammar. In really every setting, no one is listening for grammar. Unless it's an IELTS test or something incredibly grammar focused, grammar is not the priority. But I understand this is something that everyone's concerned about, because this is something you've learned for a long time, and it's frustrating when you continue to make these mistakes. That's why having a coach to help point out the repetitive grammar mistakes is helpful. It's just not something that needs to hold you back in conversation. Try to shift your mindset. Instead of asking, "Did I make a mistake?" try to ask, "Did I make my idea clear? Did I push myself to speak up? Did I make that new connection that I've been wanting to for a while now?" Set a mini intention. Say, "Today I'll share at least one idea, even if it's not perfect English." This can reduce pressure and it gives you a simple success metric. I'm all about redefining metrics of success, as you'll see with a lot of videos on this channel. And I even do this. I set my mini intentions. Yesterday I played paddle, and I'm trying to get better, and my goal was to hit 1 ball off the glass because I'm very bad at that. It's very difficult. Next, we'll be working on my volleys, and just every single time focusing on one thing to kind of check off the list and feel like I've accomplished something can be a great way to feel like you're moving forward. So maybe in the meeting you could say, "I want to ask one question," or "I want to compliment a coworker on their presentation." These are small things, but they mean so much, and it really can help you to move forward building confidence, but also rapport among your colleagues. Point number 2, prepare go-to phrases in advance. This is something that in the age of online meetings really, really helps you. You can even have a note on the side of your screen to actually read from. Maybe they're specific questions or specific phrases you want to work into the conversation, but also writing them down on a sticky note, putting them on your desk or in your work calendar can be really helpful, because this preparation reduces overthinking. Overthinking often comes from searching for words in the moment. If you've already made go-to phrases, your brain can kind of relax and feel like, "Okay, I know what I should be saying." So here are some example sentences or phrases that could help you in the future. If you want to agree, you could say something like, "That's a great point. I'd like to add," or "I agree, and I think we could also consider." If you want to disagree, but you're worried about being polite, polite ways to say it is, "I see your point, but from my perspective," or "That's interesting. I'd like to share a different angle." Something you could say if you want to buy a little time, if you're stressed or you don't exactly know what to say, you could say, "Let me think for a second." Or, "Could you clarify what you mean by?" These are great ways to kind of give yourself a few extra seconds to just think and process what's going on. If you want to contribute, but you're kind of unsure of what to say, you could say, "I might not explain this perfectly, but what I mean is," that's a great one. Or, "Let me put it this way." These are all just 8 examples of so many other things that you can say. So what you could do is write down 5 go-to phrases on a sticky note, as I said, or in your notes on the computer. Feel a little bit more confident going into your next meeting. Point number 3, practice thinking in English, not translating. Now, I know this is so much easier said than done, but preparing beforehand, shifting your mindset, these are steps towards trusting yourself and letting yourself just jump in, say what you're thinking, and not translating so much. Now, if translating is something you really struggle with, which is very normal because it's a high pressure situation, this is where coaching can be really helpful, whether it's one-on-one or group, getting this safe space for you to really let yourself go and trust your coach to tell you if you really should change anything or if you make any mistakes. This is a really good idea. But there are ways for you to feel a little bit more comfortable to step into that English thinking process as well when you're speaking. Many of my students translate everything in their head, and they feel like the moment has passed when they actually want to speak. This is especially true in group scenarios. Something I recommend for this is listening to podcasts and pausing and then jumping in to the conversation without even giving yourself time to process. This can be helpful. It's not until you start thinking directly in English and you develop that sense of trust that you know what to say and then trust yourself to say it, that you feel a lot more fluent. So a few different exercises to try that are kind of more mindset shifting is journaling, self-talk, and low stakes practice. When it comes to journaling, you could write for 5 minutes a day in English before work or before bed. Kind of reflect on your day or things that you want to say in English if it's in the morning, things that you did say that you're proud of yourself at night. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just get your brain thinking about different things in English in different scenarios and in different ways. I've found journaling to be really helpful for me personally with so many different self-growth or reflection things, so it can definitely be helpful with English as well. Number 2, your self-talk. Now, my self-talk is so incredibly negative. It's something that I'm always actively working on. And if this is you, it can be really hard to deal with that critic in your brain. So switching to positive self-talk or building that positive self-talk is really important. And also, if you could make that positive self-voice speak English, that's amazing. You could have this English cheerleader in your head complimenting you. You can have a dialogue in your head in English of what you need to do throughout the day, what you're proud of yourself for, kind of replaying interactions in a positive way, not ruminating and thinking about all the mistakes, but kind of seeing how much you've grown. Compare yourself to where you were a year ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. See that growth and acknowledge it. Finally, low stakes practice. So something that doesn't really feel like practice. Something like recording yourself speaking English on your computer or sending a voice note to someone, your friend or your family on WhatsApp or WeChat or something that really can help you over time build fluency and reduce pressure, but in the moment it doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel intimidating. So I hope this video has helped you to realize that overthinking and focusing on perfect grammar really hinders your connection. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to correct all of your mistakes or you're going to feel any better or seem any smarter. You're just stressing yourself out and you're not focusing on what's really important. Your value at work comes from your ideas, your perspective, and your ability to connect with people. Be yourself. I know that's hard to do, but throughout this channel, we can work on it together. It's not perfect grammar, perfect anything, really, especially not English that gets you where you want to be or makes you feel like the person that you want to become. So remember these 3 steps. Shift your focus to connection, prepare a few go-to phrases for yourself, and practice thinking directly in English. I know they're hard, but over time, they can definitely help. I've created a workbook to go with this video. So this includes some example phrases and journaling exercise and things that can really help you to take the next step and stop overthinking so you can feel more confident at work. You can find it in the description box below. If this video was helpful, make sure to subscribe for lots more videos like this and tips on communication, confidence, and thriving across cultures. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.